As we have discussed previously about the topic pronoun, now there are few points which is to remember, important points which is to be remembered in pronoun. They are, first thing is when two noun connected by and. Whenever a two noun is connected by a word and refers to the same person or thing, the pronoun must be single. For example, the writer and editor published his poem. Writer and editor published his poem. Here his pronoun is singular because I am joining the two words, that is writer and editor, with the word and. And both of them are the same person or the thing which I am talking about. The second example, buying and selling, is his business. Again, in the second example, I've used the singular pronoun, that is his, because the two noun which I've used refers to the same person or thing. Second point is, if the nouns are connected by each and every. Each and every. If the noun are connected by each and every, the pronoun again must be singular. Again example, every man and boy has paid his fees. The pronoun which I've used in the example which I've used is his, which is again singular, though you are talking about, because you have used a word each and every. That is the reason the pronoun which I've used is singular. The other example is every girl and woman has brought her book. So another example, the singular pronoun I used is her. Third is after, if you are using a conjunction in a sentence, so after a conjunction, the pronoun must be in the object case. What happens usually whenever we write a sentence using a conjunction or a preposition, we use a pronoun in a subjective case, which should not be done. We use pronoun always in a objective case if it is followed by a conjunction. For example, nobody but Niharika, I'll write for you, nobody but Niharika helped I. This is how we write, that is nobody but Niharika helped I. I is the subjective case, but whenever you are writing a sentence, the pronoun, if the pronoun is after a conjunction, then the pronoun will be in the objective case and it should be me. I repeat my sentence, that is nobody but Niharika helped me is the right sentence, and if you use I is a wrong sentence because I is the subjective case. Other example, she loves none but me. So again, me here is the object. In the next point, reflexive pronoun should never be used as a subject or object. Reflexive pronoun should not be used in either of it, in subjective case as well as objective. I'll write two incorrect sentences. Ed and myself saw a film. Saw a film yesterday. And the second example, myself met the manager. So here, myself in the second sentence and myself in the first sentence is the reflexive. And as I've said earlier, in reflexive pronoun, we never use the pronoun in subjective or in a objective case. So the incorrect sentence, that is Ed and myself saw a film, it should be Ed and I. I is a possessive pronoun. Ed and I saw a film, and here I met the manager. Next is that we always need to place the pronoun in a correct order. And a very simple rule for this is to learn the number 2 plus 3 plus 1. 2 plus 3 plus 1. This is the second person, 3 third person, first is the first person. Like if you're using if you are framing a sentence in which you're talking about the first, second, and the third person, so how to place the name? It's not that if you're talking about first, second, and third person, so you're going to use the first, first, second, second, and third, third. Is the wrong rule. Whenever you are framing a sentence using a pronoun for first, second, and third person, the correct order is 2, 3, and 1. If there is only 2, that is 3 and 1, then first 3, and then the first person. If there is only two person, that is second and the first, then first you will take the second person and then the first. If there is only second and third, then you'll use first, second, and then third. For example, if you're talking about the first person I, second person you, and the third person he. I, you, and he are good friends. So you're talking about the three person, that is first, second, and third. So it's not compulsory that you're going to place it in the same order, that is first, second, and third. The order should be, as I've said earlier, 2, 3, and 1. So it should be you, he, and I are good friends. If there's only two, that is you and he, then you and he are good friends. If only he and I, then I and he are good friends, as said earlier. Next is, a relative pronoun should agree with the antecedent in person and number. It should agree with its antecedent. What should agree with antecedent? The relative pronoun. How? Example, the incorrect example, if I say, this is one of the most interesting novels that has appeared this year. This is the wrong sentence. It should be, this is one of the most interesting novel that have appeared this year. That have appeared. In the previous sentence I have used has, that is incorrect, and in the correct I have used have. Why? Because we were talking about the word novels, which is plural. Next is each other should be used in speaking of two person or thing, and one another is used only if you are speaking about more than two person. Each other is used only for two, and one another is used if you are talking about more than two. When we two parted, we wished luck to each other. I'll not say we wish luck to one another, because here we are only two person. I'm talking about we. But if I say we should love one another, that means I'm talking about more than two person. Next is, either should be used in reference to two. Either is always used in reference of two. When the reference is more than two, we should use any one. If you're talking in the reference of two, then either, and if not, then any one. Now talking about he, him, they, and them. Talking about it more precisely, a pronoun following any part of the word, any part of the verb be, that is am, is, are, were, been, be, and referring to the subject is in its subjective case. For example, the officer of the company are Karan, Kiran, and I, because it will be in the subjective case. Second is, the object of a verb are or preposition is in the objective case. Then we use a verb, then we use a pronoun, that is me, you, her, it, us, and them. Next, in the case of a clause beginning with than and as. Than and as, if you supply the missing word or words, you should have little trouble deciding the correct case from the pronoun. For example, my sister is taller than me is wrong, because you have to use subjective case, that is my sister is taller than I, or my sister is taller than I am, is the correct way of using a pronoun. Next, talking about who, whom, and whoever. Talking about who, whom, and whoever, the following sentence illustrate the proper use of who and whoever subjective form as subject. I demand the opportunity for whoever wishes it. The first example is I demand the opportunity for whoever wishes it, and the second is he is the boy who scored 100 percentile on the cat. Now here these example is the proper use of who and whoever in the subjective case to form a subject, so you can use who and whoever in either of the cases. Next is whenever you are in a doubt about who or whom. If you are in a doubt of who or whom, substitute either he or him or she or her to see which makes sense. If you are in a confusion or in a doubt of who or whom, then place it with he or him or she or her. For example, whom are you speaking to? Or the same sentence can be framed with the word who also, whom you are speaking to, or you can say who you are speaking to. He or him are you speaking to whom you are speaking. Now replace it with the answer he or him you are talking to. This will make you frame the question easy with the word who and whom if you replace it the word he, him or she, her.